told you before the iPads was Catherine Ryan.
Knock knock, bestie.
You know, I normally like text me or like make an appointment before you come in my room.
Sorry. I was thinking that, as you know, I'm going on tour. I want it to be a lot like the Eras tour.
Friendship bracelets are huge. Everyone's trying to do with the Taylor Swift concepts.
Way ahead of you. Friendship, tampon.
No.
It breaks the stigma on menstruation. Equally, it's inclusive, even if you're not menstruating. They've been criticized on my socials, but I've already told men, especially, they can shove them up their ass. So what makes Taylor better than me? Nothing.
Because she says relatable things.
I say relatable things.
My friends have sent me TikToks like of your comedy, like little like skits, and they're so weird.
I'm like pretty hip, pretty cool, pretty radical.
Please never say that again.
Well, if that's your advice, I'll take that on board, I guess. Are you gonna eat with us tonight?
Maybe.
Okay. I'm about to go on tour. It's a brand new show. And I know that you've got like a real similar comedy mind. I was wondering if I could run some of this stuff. Okay, I would appreciate your full attention. It's kind of important to me. I have got this theory that men are purposely turning women against each other through a series of, no, not kind of, yeah, I was thinking maybe too serious. Political stuff. Trash exes. Would it mean anything to you if I called myself the white Nick Cannon? On account of how many kids I keep having? How hard do you think I should drag my husband this show? I'm gonna take your notes on board. Thank you, because once you get famous, people won't tell you the truth. Fred, as you know, I've got a really big show coming up, and your sister was not super helpful with the workshopping, and I was hoping I could tell you some of my jokes, and you tell me if you think they're funny.
Yeah.
What are 2 things you never eat for breakfast? Lunch and dinner. What's the hardest part of roller skating? Telling your dad that you're gay.
I'm so proud of you. You're amazing. A few months ago I didn't think this was possible, but with a lot of hard work, I think we're finally ready for the fall.
Oh, here you are. Listen, I'm trying to sort so much out for the big tour.
Tell me about it. I've got to chop back some of these trees. That oak in the back's looking dead. Safety risk, I've got to chop that down. Pool needs to be shot. Zip line needs to be greased. Also, the grass needs to be aerated and fertilized very soon.
Who cares about the garden,
No,
baby? I've got a huge show, and I really... Well, I gotta get going. The tour starts tonight.
Okay, just give me like 2 minutes. I'll pack the bags for the children.
Yeah, as helpful as you all are, and I love you guys, I'm doing this show alone.
Oh.
I need to visit.
Hey, yo, let me put some gas in this motherfucking year, bitch. I already talk my shit in a minute. Like, what the fuck these bitches really think they talking to? Like, bitches are fucking dumb. Classy in the
Hello, Liverpool. Nice to see you. How are you? It's always wonderful to be back. I've been a really nice man at the stage door. Since your first time in Liverpool, fuck no. I've been coming here learning how to do my eyebrows for the last 15 years. One of my very favorite places to be. I'm so touched that you're here. Thank you so much. I'm especially noticing a lot of men, like sexy dads, silver foxes in the audience. I'm not confused as to why. Men have an interesting arc with TV's Catherine Ryan. At first they think I hate them, and then they're worried that I'm too feminist and I'm ruining their fun, and then eventually they come around and they ask for photos of my feet, and I like that. And I will give you those photos. I never hated men. I was single back then when people used to say that. My hatred of men, it was just a hunch. I didn't know quite how bad you could be until my career started going really great, and I got bored. I thought, this is too good for you, Catherine, you need a man. And then I got married to my high school sweetheart, and he is white trash, as you saw. You think that's a nasty thing to say? It isn't, trust me. He calls loo roll shit tickets. He is a hillbilly. Bobby is adorable. He really cares about the lawn. I love that I found myself a real manly man. He puts so much effort into the garden. It's as though he imagines a professional sports team at any minute could bang on the door. and be like, Bobby, we have an emergency. Do you have any grass we could use? He'd be like, I knew this day would come, it's ready. He puts more effort into that grass than any man on earth does to landscaping his testicles. I mean, I wish. We've got all the vulgarity of AstroTurf with the inconvenience of real grass. My husband prefers to be outside, and I love him. There is no one on earth that I would rather be with. But that is disappointing because I deserve better. I know that. I'm this close to getting a wooden engraving for the kitchen that says, live, laugh, settle. Bobby is the marriage equivalent of ripped jeans. He looks cute on me, but he is distressed. And this is the thing, I can see him giving our family 100%, but to me that looks like a 4 out of 10. Because I am, in my husband's words, a high-performance woman. Look at you, Catherine, you're multitasking, you're like a Swiss Army knife. I said, correct. I would like to be picked up and used by soldiers. High-performance woman. Don't let your husbands trick you with this compliment. They learned it on TikTok, and it just makes you carry the mental load and feel like you're doing a good job. No. My husband says, you're a high-performance woman. I said, I'm not. I'm a regular performance woman. It's just that you are a fucking moron, so. By comparison, we had a bunch of kids straight away because when we reconnected, we were 35, and so I had to have babies the way a drunk person eats chicken nuggets, just all at once with complete disregard for what it was doing to my body. I'm like Boris Johnson if he acknowledged them all. I'm like Stacey Solomon without the glue gun. It's not crafting, it's a cry for help. What are you doing?
Look, Joe, look what I've done. I've taken rubbish and I've spent all day building it into even more rubbish.
I love that girl. I have no favorites, obviously. I love all my children equally after the first one, who's the best. Your parents love you the most if you're the oldest one. You love your oldest child the best, unless they really fucked up along the way. Violet had a decade head start with me, and we shared such a special relationship when I was a single mom. I love her the best. She is my favorite. Though, she's nearly 16, and so that feeling is not reciprocated at the minute. I'm hoping it's temporary. Having a teenage girl is like giving birth to your high school bully. That girl is mean. She's like Mussolini with a Stanley Cup, just barking orders from her bedroom. She's got a 45-step skincare routine and zero empathy. She's so intimidating and beautiful and British, and she has rich parents. Oh my God. Violet is a Swiftie, obviously. Oh, I know. Taylor Swift is amazing. This year, she is being responsible for more sobbing teenagers than Prince Andrew. I get it. But Violet can't believe that I wasn't a Swiftie growing up. Of course, it was before her Taylor Swift. We were not organized into cults back then. So she has trouble picturing what I was like in high school. She's like, well, what were you then, Mum? If you weren't a Swiftie, what were you? Were you a goth? Were you a jock? Were you a nerd? I panicked. I told her I was a slag. It's true. But you're not allowed to say that to teenagers anymore. They're very woke. They are offended by everything. She says, gosh, Mom, that's disgusting. Surely you have better language. What would you call someone who's body positive, sex positive? I said, a fat slag. Some of the best slags were the fat slags. They were the most fun. Can't say fat, can't say slag. what language are you meant to use anymore? And I appreciate being progressive. I consider myself to be a progressive person. I'm all about inclusion and diversity, but I also don't think that we should be removing words, or else how's anyone gonna know what something is? We've got a young woman in Britain who set herself a goal to have sex with over 1,000 men in 12 hours. I don't know if you heard about Bonnie Blue. It's really got the country divided. I thought the most disgusting participants were, of course, the men, queuing up for 45 seconds each in their little boxer shorts and socks. Terrible socks, and right after Christmas. Just not the new socks. They're obviously pathetic. I think it's really sad that there are over 1,000 men in Britain who would want to do 45 seconds in a stranger with a balaclava on. I think that's sad. But people are standing up for Bonnie Blue. She earns 400,000 pounds a month doing sex work on OnlyFans and putting on these stunts. And people say, you can't call her a slag. And I feel, as a feminist, yes you can. If that's not a slag, what's a slag then? You'll be in a bar and a man will be like, hey, can I get your number? You're like, no, thank you, I'm not interested. He's like, slag. He doesn't even know what a slag is, bless him. I'm not allowed to say slag to my teenage daughter who went out for Halloween dressed as a toilet attendant at a P. Diddy freak-off. She was dressed as a waitress on Epstein Island. I don't really know what the costume was. Those are my best guesses. Are men okay? I do worry about you guys because celebrity men have really let me down this past year. They've really let me down. How's Dave Grohl having a secret baby when he looks like he sleeps in his car? There seems to be no age or no length of marriage that you can start to trust your husband. Dave Grohl had an affair with a girl his daughter's age, and she had a baby and it split up his marriage, even though he looks like a pirate with gout. How? He has a nice wife, he has a beautiful family. Similarly, when Tommy Fury and Molly May broke up, I was irrationally cross with my own husband for 3 weeks. I think he had very little to do with it, but I just walked around the house like, you piece of shit. And we don't know what happened. They deny cheating rumors, but every woman on earth knows you don't break up with your partner when you have a 1-year-old baby unless he put his penis where it didn't belong. He's drinking too much and fucking strangers. And you know how I know, apart from being a 41-year-old woman who's lived in the world and had loads of friends and loads of marriages, Tommy Fury is deeply stupid. That man can be tricked and trapped by anyone at any time. Tommy Fury is a walking haircut. He makes the decisions of someone who's been hit in the head professionally their entire life. And I think a lot of women felt hurt by this rumor because you look at Molly May and she embodies what a lot of women have been told we should be our entire life. She's young, she's beautiful, she's a doting mother, she's an entrepreneur. She owns her home outright. She's smart, she's successful, and he cheats on her with who? And Tommy Fury is so stupid. I don't think you guys understand what a liability this guy is. I was on a quiz show with Tommy Fury for charity, and for the winning point, they asked him to name a country that started with the letter H. And he said, Hamsterdam. And didn't immediately know it was wrong. Just this adorable, expectant look on his face. Is it Amsterdam? No! No, it isn't Hamsterdam. There's no tiny country with rodents off their tits in a canal. Visiting a little Anne Frank museum with sawdust on the ground. Fucking twat. And I have concluded that you can love men, you can fancy men, but I don't think you can be trusted 100%, lads. I don't. I believe that even a respectable husband and father could leave the house one day and accidentally slip into a sex worker's vag. That's what I believe. I think every man on earth is one stupid mistake away from exploding his whole life. And I know you think that's not fair. You're like, well, women cheat. Yeah, but we meant to do it. We didn't get tricked, we didn't get trapped. We've already been in love with him for 18 months. If you've been paying attention, you realize we haven't fucked you in a year. We're not together anymore. I'm not okay. There are Japanese businessmen, I've read about them, they will spend tens of thousands of pounds on a female sex doll. And it's not just like the sex parts. They want to take this woman on dates. These dolls are fully equipped with AI. They can have a conversation, they can learn about you. It's ChatGPT in a wig. They will choose the hair color, choose the outfit. They will fall in love with this 10,000 pound sex doll. No market for that with us. You need to learn your value, gentlemen. If a woman buys a sex doll, it's like a 3-pound blow-up doll as a joke for a hen do. We'll maybe pop it in the passenger seat so we can feel safe driving on country roads. Same amount of conversation anyway. If we walk into a sex shop, we know what we want. Just give me the dick. Oh, madam, would you be interested in other parts of the man? No, nice try. Every heteronormative woman who is sexually active in this room will at one point in her life been having sex with a man and thought, oh, do you know what's getting in the way right now? The man. Just a fair warning, if dildos learn how to bleed a radiator, you're obsolete. If a dick could carry my bags from the taxi to airport check-in, I wouldn't have had to get married at all. The way you have sex, ridiculous. I don't mean your technique, I mean the fact that you have sex at all. I'll explain to you what I mean. Women of fertile age, we have many follicles. Most of those follicles will contain an egg. And every month, those eggs get together democratically and they choose the strongest candidate to go forward. They'll be like, Denise, it's all on you this month. It's a very peaceful protest. We only want the best and the brightest. And what do we do with that one egg? We look after Denise all month. We know where she is. We keep her with us. We don't take our eyes off Denise. We always keep Denise here. Men, spaffing into the wind. Millions and millions of your children. In the shower, in the trash. In a stranger's eyelashes. No quality control whatsoever. I got a 2-headed sperm lost banging into my asshole. That's your best? Everyone just go. Everybody. I don't know, Dave, are we even in the vagina? Doesn't matter, go. And then you want custody. Stupid. Ladies, can you imagine if every time you had sex, you shot out 1 million eggs? You would never do it again. I wouldn't trust one of my eggs inside my own husband. He golfs 3 times a week. I know. Very egregious hobby when you have small children. It takes 5 hours to golf. And that's unless you're shit, it takes longer. I with small children what her hobbies are. She will look panicked before answering, I go to the toilet alone sometimes. Oh, sometimes. Should have said before. We never should have taught men about mental health. That was a mistake. We thought that we would be helping, but they've learned, they weaponize it against us. My husband says, I've got to go out golfing with my friends, it's good for my mental health. I said, nice try, it's good for your happiness, you're not allowed that one. Be confused. You gotta admire that kind of dedication to spend time away from me. I have offered to take my husband to lunch. You know, we've not been married very long. Want to do something with me and the children? No, I'd rather amble about in a hostile climate with a bag of sticks like a shit Bear Grylls. He's golfing this month. No, I'd rather catch RSV in the freezing rain for the length of time it takes to drive from London to Carlisle. And I have to ask myself, what does golf have that I don't? 18 holes, obviously. You can't compete with 18 holes. I've only got the 3. I've tried to make my holes more interesting. I built some obstacles around them. The sand track was a complete failure. Grew my pubic hair back one summer, dyed it green, no interest. Opened up the back 9. They even invited his friends around for a scramble. I consider myself to be an LGBTQAI+ ally. I do, that's very important to me. Well, you're about to get upset. Because don't forget, I am a white woman over 40. And you know what happens, ladies? The entitlement bubbles up in you. You get this haircut, you want to complain to a manager. I don't know where it comes from. You gotta stay on top of your business if you still want to be progressive as a white lady over 40. It starts with the charcuterie board. Before you know it, you're tweeting #AllLivesMatter. It's a slippery slope. You get a memo in the post on your 40th birthday. Pick a phobia, what's it gonna be? Trans, Islama, or fat? I don't want any of those. I'm an LGBTQAI+ ally. But I was recently offered a gig in Dubai. And then I didn't want to go because obviously the human rights issues, but then I went to Dubai. And I fucking love Dubai. I love Dubai more than I love Kylie Minogue music. I love Dubai. I love Dubai, it's gorgeous. Totally worth the slavery, I'm sorry. It's like a Kardashian theme park, have you been? It's like someone gave the desert a facelift and threw in a boob job for free. Dubai is like America, but with better rights for women. I love it. And I'm totally down with Middle Eastern laws. I shouldn't be driving, I know that. I am exactly the kind of prick who will ram my Land Rover into a group of pensioners and not stop drinking my pumpkin spice latte. My favorite thing about Dubai is that they allow plural marriage. And I know a lot of wives are thinking, I wouldn't like that. I don't want my husband having sex with other women. But you can relax, because they're not his girlfriends, they're his wives. That miserable bastard is just going door to door to get bitched at. Can you imagine how sad Bobby would be if he had multiple wives? I would be their queen, and together we could emotionally destroy him once and for all. We'd be like the Destiny's Child of emasculation. We'd be like an ovulating Avengers Assemble. I feel like I'd invent little mind games. I get each of the wives individually to approach him and say something fucked up like, this is gonna sound really weird, but has your dick got smaller? Till eventually he developed a complex, walked into the desert, and we get a free house. Love Dubai, blah, 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 blah. You can actually be gay there, weirdly, it's fine. They don't care. No, I've already alienated the gays. got really white kids as well. Living in London, all about diversity, it feels racist having these kids. Have you seen my children? Porcelain skin, blue eyes, blonde hair. They look like they were created in a Nazi lab. I have to put sunglasses on to look at them. My house looks like a lineup from Mock the Week 2008. When I am out in public with my children, I distance myself from the buggy. I take on the posture of a badly treated au pair who works for a very anti-Semitic family. Like, no, these white kids treat me so bad. Those white kids do treat me so bad. They don't sleep at night. They're up maybe 4 or 5 times each. And I co-sleep with my children. I just feel like it's the right thing to do. And they'll be there like 2 a.m. Mommy, can I have some more milk? I'm like, ask your father, I'm a fucking celebrity. How did this happen? I only agreed to have them because I thought I was gonna be their dad. I feel like the hardest part of having small children is acting surprised when they cough in public. You know what I mean? We'll be at a soft play and they'll be like, I'm like, oh darling, are you unwell? I never would have brought you around the other children if I'd known you were sick. I'm looking at the other moms with the energy of the owner of a Wuhan bat sanctuary. Of course I knew they were sick. That's why I had to get them out of the house. When Violet was a little girl, we used to walk a lot in the neighborhood, and we would see very elderly women. And some of them looked lonely and terrifying. And I would say to my daughter, you know, Violet, every older lady used to be a little girl. And one day I'll be an older lady, but with a facelift. And one day you'll be an older lady. So it's really nice if you could say hello, and it will make their day. And she always would. She'd be like, hello, Mrs. Martin, hello. And the ladies loved it. And I was out with my son Fred the other day. Fred is a very versatile name, by the way. He could be any kind of man. Ooh, Frederick sounds like a hedge fund manager, but Big Fred gets his cock out in Malaga. You know? I've given him options. But they say you should raise both genders the same. I tried, but Fred is such a boy. And by that, I mean he's a little bastard. He'll wake me up in the middle of the night, just like, Mommy, you are very beautiful. Do you want to fight? How'd you get this toxic so fast? I took him to a playgroup the other day adjacent to a knitting circle where there were very elderly ladies having a coffee morning. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll make their day. I said, Fred, every older lady used to be, and before I could finish, he shouted over my shoulder, look, Mommy, skeletons! The shock killed at least 3 of them. They're different. My boys and girls are different. Both Violet and Fenna, it's too late to change that name, I know it sounds like a laxative. It's Dutch. If something goes wrong in their day, they're chill, they're women, they're resilient. Both of them will just be like, well, this is a disappointing setback, but ultimately I have the mental fortitude to withstand this temporary blow. Fred's peas touch his carrots, he will go fucking mental and smash up a train set. Raising them all the same. And you see women, as their sons grow older and go rogue, they're never surprised on the news when it happens. They're like, well, we thought Jacob was just up in his bedroom wanking, but as it turns out, he was building a bomb. He's keeping 3 severed heads up there. That's our baby Jacob. What? Are men okay? There was an American football player, Harrison Butker, not a typo. He plays for the same team as Taylor Swift's boyfriend, and he was asked to deliver a speech at a graduation, a commencement speech. And he said to all the graduating women there that they had wasted their time and wasted their money. I know, and being that they went to a Catholic liberal arts college, I sort of agree. Like 35 grand for a theology master's? Babe, it's one book report. What are you doing? But anyway, not for that reason. He's very religious himself. He said that we should all return to our traditional gender roles and that they don't need to be educated. And then he cried, talking about his wife. He said, she is amazing. She gave up everything to look after me and to raise our children. And without her, I never could have achieved a thing. That's a nice thing to say. And if you want to stay home and look after your family, that is a very honorable pursuit. You should do that, but not because a homophobic American footballer told you to before putting his tights on and going to wrestle his best friends. But I was thinking about this, like, you're proud to publicly admit that an adult had to give up everything or you wouldn't have a life. Because I had a stay-at-home husband, and everything I have achieved in my life, I would have got quicker without him. I have heroically overcome the handicap of marriage. I'm basically a Paralympian. Bobby is such white trash. And I mean, I do love him for it, and it's not his fault. I know what it was like to grow up where we did. We're from the same town. We went to the same school. We're actually brother and sister, which is cute. He's really humble, like salt of the earth guy. We have so much in common, values, grandparents. But because I've married him and had these kids, his family come over and they are white trash hillbillies, and they high-five my British children. And they're like, good job, buddy, good job. Like, you would tell these English children, well done. His mother goes, well done, you mean like a steak? I was like, what? You are such white trash, you eat steak, well done. Get out of my house and take your ketchup with you. But gentlemen, you will never be happy marrying up. You won't. And I don't know why we tell men all their lives, you gotta marry the best woman, the finest mother. You won't be relaxed. You want to marry scum, like I did. You have fun. You want to marry the girl that's happy to bag off work on a Tuesday and drink whiskey in the park. She's not paying attention to how many hours you spend golfing. Why did Bobby have to marry me? I work really hard. I earn good money. I'm very hands-on with the children. I'm home all the time. I do housework. I'm affectionate. I still suck him off enthusiastically. I'm smart. I'm beautiful. I'm humble. I'm perfect. If I have any flaws at all, it's that my self-esteem is too low. I am working on that. But I was in the news last year, which was a total surprise to me. I don't know if you saw it. I had to lay low for a while, honestly. And it takes a lot to shock me. But basically, I was in all the tabloids over this whole thing about a sex predator in my industry. And I was talking to Louis Theroux, a wonderful man, and he asked me about sex predators in my industry. And I think they exist in every industry, and I have this disorder. If you ask me a question, I'll tell you the answer. And I spoke to him about it quite openly, though I didn't name who I was talking about. I didn't think anybody would care. Like, this has been going on for maybe 15 years in my industry. Everyone's always known about him. Nobody's cared. Why would they care now? But all of a sudden, I say it to Louis Theroux, and boom, it's in the tabloids. There's a Channel 4 documentary and a Times expose. Shit. And I'll never name him because, you know, it's a decision I've wrestled with. I feel like it's not right. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's more famous than ever, and people only cared for about 3 months because the documentary was well made. But now I'll tell you everything that happened. It actually happened so long ago. 7 years ago, I was invited on a comedy panel show. And I didn't want to go on at first because I knew that I would be sat next to a cunt. And I'm so sorry to use that language, but this has gone to a team of lawyers, and that's the word they felt most comfortable with. They said it would be very easy to prove he wears a beanie indoors. There's not a jury in the land who would argue with that. The other word is actually very difficult to prove. So I didn't want to go on the show because a lot of women, more than a few women that I love and trust, have told me about experiences with this man that make him very dangerous. And I didn't want to sit next to him because I thought I would be complicit. You might watch that show, and then you think he's a safe person. He invites you around for a seance or a baptism, and you're like, well, Catherine likes him, so maybe he's cool. And then I made a compromise. I said, you know what? I will go on the show, but anytime he speaks to me, I'm gonna call him a sex predator to his face. And I'm gonna try not to get fired. I'm gonna try to make it funny. So every time he spoke to me, I'd say stuff like, I'm not getting paid enough to be here, especially considering how many times my face will be on the news when your victims come forward, stuff like that. I feel it's very direct. I know, 7 years ago we were using the word victim. We say survivor now. Would have been a very different Destiny's Child song. But I thought, why shouldn't I be there? He'll be there wearing his unnecessarily tight jeans. He'll be there finger banging Tucker Carlson or sucking off a Tibetan monk for views, whatever he does. So in front of the audience and the producers and the channel, I'd go, what can you say about him that hasn't already been repeated by tens of vulnerable women and sealed in a deposition? It was very clear. Until he finally had a hissy fit, and he swanned into my dressing room with a new contract under my nose, and he went, see, you can't make fun of me anymore. You're not allowed to be mean to me because I don't consent. And I was like, huh? And annoyingly, I do respect consent, unlike him, and so I stopped. And when the show went out, they just wiped everything I said. So if you watch it now, I'm just smiling at him, and I'm just laughing at him, and making him look like a really safe person. And some strange things happened when it all came out in the tabloids. A lot of men especially, they love him, and they didn't believe me. They said I was doing it for attention, or even worse, that I was an instrument of the state. Huh? I hate the state. Why would the government choose a retired Hooters waitress to take down a YouTube channel that didn't even exist? But what I love the most is it was in the news and I started to get texts from men that I'd worked with in the past. Some I hadn't seen in a decade, like actors, musicians, comedians, just being like, hey Catherine, hope you're good, how's the family? And I was like, why are they reaching out now? I didn't understand what they wanted, and so I showed my husband. I was like, you speak, man. What? And he read through them all, and there were loads, and he went, oh, they just want a proof text. Since you won't name the predator, they want you to text them back something nice so they can show their agent and show their wife. They're definitely not talking about that. Some people have taken a lot of drugs, they don't remember. So I had to copy paste 65 times. Do you really think you should be texting me after everything that happened between us? Just a bit of fun, just a bit of banter for the lads, you know? I just had a baby, I thought it was fair. I don't sleep at night, you don't sleep at night. This is how the evening is gonna go, by the way. I should tell anyone with a babysitter or ADHD, I know you like to know what's going on. There's gonna be an interval shortly, and then we come back for what is a very interactive part of the show. It's my favorite part, and you'll be out of here by 9:45. Oh, I know, a lot of us are over 40, it's so exciting. You could leave in the interval, be in bed by 9. But before I go, I'll tell you this, especially for the lads, because I know a lot of you have paid for the tickets. Thank you for that. I have stood up for a lot of men in my career, so many. And a lot of us are very broken doing stand-up, of course, but there are men who use that for good and not evil. Like Jimmy, oh, a baby's here, yes! Please have it washed and sent to my dressing room, thank you. You're very welcome to be here with your baby, by the way. I'm sure there are places you can breastfeed if you're doing that and you're not bothering anybody. I hope if it's your first baby, you don't feel weird or self-conscious about it. I think we're really glad that you got out of the house. Postpartum can be a very lonely place, and it's time that child learned some new words. Anyway. child's like, can she legally say sex predator? I said, cunt. Jimmy Carr is a wonderful man, and with a sad story. Do you know Jimmy Carr's laugh is the reason his parents never tickled him growing up? Breaks your heart. I know we have a lot of parents in. Maybe you're watching Blippi at home with your kids. My children love Blippi. He's this children's entertainer who wears bracelets and a hat and talks about excavators and dinosaurs. He's really talented. And he created this character on YouTube from nothing, and now it's worth billions. It's a live show, it's toys, it's a cartoon on Netflix. But some of the eagle-eyed parents will have noticed that they replaced original Blippi, who created the character, with an actor. It's now like a young Hispanic-American androgynous Blippi. And I'm sorry, he's not as talented. My children don't like the new Blippi. I find it very difficult to get any housework done with the new Blippi. And I was upset by this, so I went on a hunt. I said, what happened to original Blippi? Obviously, he's a pervert, children's entertainer. When will Britain learn? But he's the kind of pervert that I can really get behind. Blippi was struck off because out of his uniform, as a civilian in regular, well, no clothes, he made a separate video of himself shitting on his friend. Yeah, like 2 girls, 1 cup vibes. And they were both wearing safety goggles, so calm down. It was a very artistic video. They had music. I don't have a problem with the video. I still want original Blippi to entertain my kids. And I'm finding it very difficult to get my petition signed. Similarly, just a few weeks ago, my daughter Violet was writing her mock exams because she's about to write GCSEs. And during the exam, while the girls were distracted, she goes to an all-girls school. Her teacher apparently didn't realize that his laptop was screen mirrored to the projector. Oh, have you met men? Catherine Ryan's really unfair about men. All I told you is that a man owned a computer and... So he didn't realize that his laptop was screen mirrored to the projector, and he did a search for the term thick women, big boobs. I know, bless him. And the search came up, and the girls have radar for drama, so their little heads whipped up immediately. They've got smartphones hidden, so they took pictures, they put it on Snapchat, they sent it to their mothers. The WhatsApp group went mental. All the moms just like, what are we gonna do? And after 300 messages, one of them was like, Catherine, you are a very prominent, outspoken feminist. What do you think about what I was about her? And I said, well, I have to tell you, I think we have a man who's done a porn search for the term women, maybe for the first time ever. I'm impressed. He didn't say college girls or teens. He searched 4 grown-up words: thick, women, big, boobs. He's the only one here that we know is not a pedo. Oh well. Why are the rest of them here? These little girls are fucking bitches. Said, promote this man to headmaster. And I was ejected from the group chat. So you can't win, basically. I attack men a little bit for fun, I get in trouble. I stand up for men who Google porn in my child's private class. I get in trouble. I so appreciate you being here. I'm going to give you my phone number during the interval, which is so much fun. I would like you to text or WhatsApp me a dilemma that you might be having. We can work on it in the section section as a group. People text me all kind of weird and wonderful things. There are no rules except for, please be prepared to be called on if I read your text, because a lot of people get shy. If you send me a text, we might talk about it in the second half. It doesn't have to be a question. Questions work well, but there was a woman in Bradford who texted, Catherine, I'm 36 weeks pregnant and I almost didn't make the show because I thought my waters had gone this morning. And then after a very embarrassing chat with the midwife, I realized she asked why. And I told her my husband said it tasted funny, but it's a happy ending, it's a happy ending. She said it turned out I just pissed in his mouth. It's not really a question, Sarah, but... And this gentleman in a Catherine Ryan show, let me tell you, got a standing ovation. He was the hero of the night. He became the Bonnie Blue of this crowd. Just queuing round. All right, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you after the interview.